guys, welcome to the 4th edition of Bricks and Barrels. I'm here at Chartered Housing with Mr. Bimal. Thank you, Bimal, for your time, and I really appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule to speak with us.
Thank you, Rahul.
Yeah. So, Bimal, can we start off with something about the Chartered Group itself, since you guys have a long history and very distinguished, track record.
So I'll just remove the mask.
Yeah, sure. That'll be better.
So the group really started in 1983.
Mm-hmm.
But initially we were into finance.
Right.
And then in 1989 we shifted to real estate.
Okay.
And since 1989 our focus has been real estate.
Sure.
And in real estate our focus has been residential in Bangalore.
Sure.
Every time, right from the beginning, I think our key differentiator has been quality, attention to detail.
Sure.
And therefore, our focus has never been growth, do 10 projects, 20 projects, but do a few projects, but do it to the real good detailing, real good quality, and people have seen that. And that's why we have a lot of reference customers who keep coming back even after 30 years.
Right. And perhaps a few words about your dad who started the business and
so
laid the foundation, I suppose, right?
Yeah. So dad's name is Balakrishna Hedge.
Yes.
So he initially started his career in the bank, and then he was the youngest bank manager at that point of time in Vijay Bank.
Right.
And then he quit and he started chartered finance in leasing.
Right. This was Bangalore or Bangalore?
No, Bangalore.
Bangalore.
He did his education in Bangalore, then came to Bangalore to work.
Okay.
And that time there was Vijay Bank was in a booming phase, so he became a manager, youngest manager in the bank, and then left the bank, started leasing and finance, and then subsequently got into real estate. And his focus is always, like I said, that's what the company reflects. Because no point. He never believed that we should be another developer. He believed that we need to build our own kind of differentiator.
Sure.
And that's something that we still do. So if you see, even in the recent past, whether it's our row villa project Grasshopper near Coromandel, the area is filled with apartments.
Sure.
And we said, we cannot be one amongst them. So we will do a row villa concept.
Got it.
And I think it got accepted pretty well.
Great.
Even in the layouts, we have got into layouts. If I have to tell you, when we started layouts in North Bangalore beyond the airport, there were no layouts in that vicinity.
Okay.
Not even one.
Right. You're talking about plotted.
There was one developer, not a A-grade developer. He was selling or unable to sell even at 400 rupees.
Okay.
So we were a bit skeptical initially, but then we said, okay, we will differentiate ourselves.
Yeah.
And even though he's unable to sell at 400, we will charge our products at 1,200 rupees.
Wow. That's almost 3 times.
So we did that. We were able to convince customers.
Right.
And it's
So how many of those customers were repeat? Because since you said obviously your brand legacy is so strong.
There were actually, because that was our first plotted project. There were a lot of them were repeat.
Okay.
And a lot of new customers started coming.
Right.
The customers who buy an apartment versus who buy plots are very different.
Right.
Their needs are different, the timelines are different.
Sure.
So we had a new set of customers actually find us.
Very nice.
And they were not the customers who wanted another site, but they wanted a premium site.
Right.
So since then we've not done many, but we've continuously every 1 or 2 years, every maybe 18 months we launch a project. Layout projects. Now we're on the 4th one.
Fantastic. All are in the same location?
So 3 of them are in North Bangalore.
Okay.
One is in Nelamangala. The Nelamangala one is the one we just finished.
Right.
Even over there were no premium developers.
Right.
We were the first premium developers, and people have really appreciated it and really.
I have one question for you. So when you say differentiation in terms of an apartment, it's fairly obvious, right? In terms of your finishes and in terms of a lot of amenities you provide, etc. So how would you define a premium gated community plotting development as such? How would you define that as a segment?
Before I answer the question, even in apartments, it's not just about amenities. It's about how do we utilize the space. How efficient is your apartment? Something that we focused on right from the beginning is ensuring higher efficiency. Carpet area is much higher. So if you buy 1,000 square feet or 1,200 square feet apartment in a chartered, you will find it bigger than a other developer.
Right.
Yeah, because the carpet area is higher.
Sure.
So you will never find us advertising like a few other developers that we have a 25,000 square feet suburb. Never.
Right.
But we will say you have higher carpet area. That's in apartments, in design.
Sure.
So it's not just about amenities, it's about how we plan things.
Right. The efficiency.
Yes. So because a lot of our projects are catering to end users.
Got it.
We are not an investor-driven company, but we are a focused end user thing. Now coming to plotted development. One of the things that, many things, but what we have started doing is, which was not a trend that when we started layouts. Now a lot of people have actually got into layouts. The bigger developers and some good players have started coming. Things like, for example, the entire electric line goes underground.
Okay.
So if I'm spending 100 rupees on a line above, if I have to take it below the ground, I've spent 2.5, 3 times the cost.
Okay.
Just to give you one example.
Sure.
In terms of what's the kind of specification for the curbstones, for the edge of the road, then we have something called as a what we do before we put the pavers. We put a layer of concrete and then we put the pavers. Typically, what people would do is they would put the pavers straight on compacted sand. So what happens eventually is after a couple of years it starts wobbling and it starts drifting and there's some variation in levels. But we don't do that.
Fantastic attention to detail.
Another thing that you would have noticed is, you typically walk when the roads are tarred, you go on the edge of the road. The roads are sloped if they're done properly, and the rainwater goes on the sides along the curbstone. Right? So that last bit of the edge of the road start getting spoiled faster.
Right.
The particles of tar start coming out because that's the nature over a time. It's not about bad or good quality. So what we do is we had a piece of concrete there, which is called a saucer drain. So that runs along the road. Okay. So you will never find the roads being damaged.
Right.
So even the levels.
And all this has come about years and years of experience and also your team, I suppose.
Yeah, one is years of experience. But years of experience, you can do the job well. But attention to detail means how do we solve a certain problem that's there. And a lot of other things. We avoid cutting trees. So that's a contribution back to nature. We were one of the first developers to use tree transplanting in our projects.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Back in probably 2002.
Right. So you take the trees and you put them into some other project of yours?
No, so one is when we try to design the project itself, we try to map all the trees and try to see how the trees can be accommodated in our plans. So if you go to our villa project, the feeling is very different because versus a small plant that is planted when you move in was a fully grown tree. The feeling is very different.
Absolutely.
You feel much better. You feel a lot more natural in one with nature.
Sync with nature. Absolutely. That's right.
A lot of other things, details. For the paucity of time, I want to get everything.
That's fine. I can see the attention to detail, like you said, is one of the hallmarks of the charter group, and I can see very clearly, coming out. So let's talk about yourself also, Bimal. So how long have you been with Chartered, and what was your experience prior to that? And give us some background. So I'm sure viewers would like to know.
So I studied architecture in RV, Bangalore. And then subsequently I immediately joined Chartered. So I joined Chartered in 2007. The interesting thing is, which I find myself lucky to be, I joined in 2007 and immediately Lehman Brothers crashed.
Oh, right.
So,
2008.
2007 September is when they
2008, yeah.
and it was really tough.
Right.
Being an architect, I had no clue about real estate.
Yeah.
Side of it. You just know about the design aspect.
Correct.
So it was a very interesting experience.
Trial by fire kind of experience, right?
So you every day was a new challenge.
Yeah.
Every day was a new learning in that same sense. And that was when we made the huge transition of being from a boutique developer doing only projects in CBD versus doing projects in the outskirts, suburban areas, and much larger in scale. Because you can't go outside and do 20 apartments. You need to do larger apartments. So even in terms of inventory, we had a lot more. So it was a very interesting phase, and I learned a lot. And also a good thing is when it's family business, you have a person within your family who is continuously on a daily basis. You can actually learn. Not about interaction, but I'm saying even when you just observe and you're there, you know that he's there to support you in case, or they are there to support you. So you learn a lot of learning. So over the years, it's been a very interesting journey. And automatically you start understanding what the company stands for, what's the ethos of the company, what's the culture of the company, and you see how you can kind of take that to the next level.
Absolutely.
And this is something that we've learned over the years. Because customer confidence comes when delivery happens. So I started UPing a couple of years back, and I was very instrumental in setting up the UP in Bangalore. Because what we believe is that what we tell the customer is what we deliver. Even when the lockdown happened, I was selling.
Right.
I had not planned for it.